That's it, comrades. What a day. This is our day, the Day of the Workers, the International Day of the Workers. You know, this is an historic occasion. And it has been led by great leaders. I want to acknowledge the CFMEU, Darren Greenfield. And Paul McAleer. 6 years ago, they set on this journey to celebrate the Day of the International Workers' Day. And that is the 1st of May. And we're here today. We're shutting down this city. We're building our position to fight for a better world. Comrades, I want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we meet here today, because this is stolen land. Over 200 years of oppression. That struggle is our struggle. And it's today that we bring together every struggle of the working class, the brutality of imperialism, and that oppression continuing today. I want to make that point. I want to pay our respects to their elders, past and present. This is, always will be, Aboriginal land. I also want to pay my respects to you, the workers. The workers that stopped your industries. The waterfront down at Botany, I want to pay respects to our MUA members, all the wharfies. Not a box is moving in Port Botany again. Not a box. We shut the port down. And I want to pay my respects, our respect to every union here. Every union. Their rank and file, their leadership that has got on board. The Nurses, Midwives Association, the teachers, the paramedics, the Independent Education Union, the United Workers Union, I see the AMW down there, the ETU, the plumbers, the mighty CFMEU. Power to all of us, comrades. Over the course of the next 24 hours, as the sun rises around the world, hundreds of millions of workers will go on strike and celebrate May the 1st, May Day, International Day of the Workers. And we started it first. But we come together to acknowledge the history of our struggles, the brutality that's waged on workers, and we connect to those workers in struggle in ways that we can't imagine around the world. That they live in a system of slavery and brutality. We here in Australia, if we look at the last 10 years, figures come out only the other day, 93% of economic growth in the last 10 years went to the 7% richest people in this country. 93%! So we got the 93% of the people in this country got 7% of that economic growth that we created. Shame on the system, shame on the capitalist system. And that's why we're here, because we're demanding real pay rises. Not just the cost of living, not just the crisis of capitalism that's created the cost of living and the out of control inflation that's over 7%. We want real pay rises. It's okay, the boss is saying, when times are good, you get CPI. But when the fucking world's upside down and we can't afford to live, we don't get that. It's time for general strikes across the country to draw up our list of demands and fight for what's ours, comrades. Let's start organising general strikes across the country to take what's ours. And it's just a bit over a year ago that rotten government, the Maritime government, how good's that? We got rid of them, and good riddance. That Maritime government brought in anti-protest laws, which means, and let's be clear what it was designed for. It's to criminalise union activity, it's to criminalise the right to protest, and it was targeted towards activists in our communities, environmental activists, First Nations activists, trade union activists, working class activists, That's what it was designed for. And today we broke them laws and we'll continue to break them until that law is abolished. We have a new government here in New South Wales. We say to the new government, get rid of that law or we'll march on you. But we're here also to reflect on our achievements and what working class people can do when we organise and build power for ourselves, build dignity for ourselves through organising for our communities and for workers of the future. We have an industrial relations system that's broken. The Fair Work Act, as our great comrade, my great mate Darren Greenfield said, the Fair Work Act, there's nothing fair in it. It's been with us now for 12 years. And look at the correlation. The Fair Work Act is an anti-union law to smash unions and smash workers' rights to organise and defend their right to work and build a better life for them and their families. The Fair Work Act must go and be rewritten. We have laws that now come into place in December that reduces to a period of 9 months enterprise bargaining. So when an enterprise agreement expires, the clock ticks. And this was brought in by the federal Labor government. And we say to them, it's got to go. The 9 months means that after 9 months, if there's not a collective agreement, it is ripped out of the hands of the union and the workers, and it goes down to that rotten Fair Work Commission where an industrial judge draws up that contract, that agreement, on our behalf. This is the removal of our democratic rights. This is a blunt instrument to smash trade unionism, and it must go. We must campaign to abolish manufactured stone, being led by the CFMEU. Silicosis is killing young workers. A handful of years of working with the product is killing workers. When they are diagnosed, there's only a few years left before they die. And the CFMEU is leading that charge. I say this with all of you here, comrades, and to our mates in the CFMEU. If the political establishment does not ban this, wharfies won't unload it.
What about our retirement age?
And we have a climate crisis. We know as workers that we're going to have to pay. So we've got to take it into our own hands. And no community can be left behind. We know we need a carbon neutral energy system. Offshore wind, green hydrogen. This is the way for the future to power our homes, to power our factories, and to build a better world for the future for working class people. And we must take that up and fight. And I want to acknowledge the environmental activists, because the anti-protest laws, we've seen the brutality of the coppers. A bit different this year, isn't it? Remember last year? Dead said they were like hyenas on a carcass, threatening. Well, I tell you what, it's funny how you can get a change of government and these things change. We say to them, defend your communities and don't defend the political establishment. We're the only country that has a permit system for elected, democratically elected trade union leaders. The only country. And it's issued by the Fair Work Commission. Nothing fair in the commission. And when we defend our members and break those unjust laws, the Fair Work Commission takes those permits off us. It's time to abolish those permit systems. It's time to abolish the ombudsman that John Howard brought in, the Fair Work Ombudsman. Nothing fair about them. They're nothing but anti-union that wage war on unions and workers. And comrades, we live in a time that's uncertain. Our mantra has been for working class people across the globe that peace is union business. Peace is union business. We have a position by the federal government that must change. The AUKUS treaty, nuclear subs, is no good for the people. Nuclear subs are going to cost us, the working class, between $300 to $400 billion. And it's going to rip out of our education system, our health system, the NDIS, and our social welfare system, everything that we've fought for generations to build dignity for ourselves and our communities. With that money, we can build ships in Australian ports by Australian workers and build them for trade amongst our communities and our neighbours in this region. We say peace, not war. Let's not build a path where we don't have a future for our children and every generation going forward. So with that, comrades, solidarity forever with you. This is our day. Workers of the world unite. We've got nothing less but our chains to throw away. Solidarity.